become like one of them. It sounds very familiar, right? The Babylonian Empire has a name in every generation. Sometimes it's a political system, a cultural moment, an economic structure. Sometimes it is an empire of fear, one that says conform or be canceled, agree with us or be left out, perform or we will just make you invisible. And Daniel is young. He's probably a teenager. As I mentioned, he's been ripped from home, from his community, from everything that is familiar to him. And now he's standing inside a system that wants to rename him. They literally gave him a new name. They gave him a Babylonian name, a name that carried a different identity, a different allegiance, and a different God. And we have to realize that the empires don't always come at us with violence first. They sometimes come to us with an offer. They come to us with an offer. They says, here's your seat. Here's your food. Here's your new name. But don't be so much of what you used to be. Don't be so much. Don't be so much. Don't be so much. And that's why we have to realize God is really calling us to live faithful in this environment and to live unfiltered. We take the offer because the pressure is real, right? The cost of remaining faithful is high. And sometimes it can be so exhausting to be in a room where your whole self is not welcome. And when you get in that place, right, where you just feel you're out of place and you're holding on to your authenticity, you're holding on, you're retaining and maintaining your integrity. When the environment tells curse to God and die to your faith, die to your devotion, die to your allegiance. When you get to that point, I can kind of understand the edit. Some of us have edited ourselves to fit in, to be acceptable. I can understand, to a certain extent, how we've smoothed ourselves out. I can understand the smooth. I can understand how we've carefully calibrated how much of me I'm going to bring into this space. And on the outside, it can even look like wisdom. It can look like being professional. It can look like being mature, being wise. But then there is a version of that, I think, that a lot of us are living in and living with right now. And that is where the edit has gone too deep. The edit, the smooth, the polish, the filter has gone too deep, where we have been so careful for so long that we started to forget what the unedited version of ourselves look like or sound like or even feel like. That's when you know the edit has gone too deep, right? It's like you've been, like we're undercover. And, someone who's undercover, man, when they're some sort of asset, and sometimes they get too deep and they got to be pulled out because they're now taking on the full life, right? They've taken on that personality too deep. And where we become so polished that we've lost the honest us, the honest me, the true me. And the problem isn't just personal, saints. The problem is deeply theological. When you edit yourself into something that the empire, the institution, the system, the culture, the community approves of, you stand the risk of losing the very thing that makes you useful to God. When he polishes himself down, Daniel, and he moves from his authentic self, he's just another Babylonian. It's nothing different about him. He's not outstanding. He's blending in. But then verse 8 comes to us. And it says, but Daniel resolved. Daniel determined. Daniel didn't perform. He didn't just announce. He didn't post. He resolved. He determined. He made that internal determination. Before the pressure came, he made an internal determination about who he was going to be. Daniel did not make a scene, write a manifesto. He didn't make a big spectacle. He simply said, I will not defile myself with the king's food. It was a personal decision. He did not post it. He did not announce it. He spoke it to the ones, first and foremost, he resolved in himself. It was a commitment he made to himself first. A lot of times, some of us, we come up, we have these brilliant ideas. And before we really own it with ourselves, we release it into the atmosphere. We post it. We tweet it. But he decided he was not going to defile himself. I will not consume what this system is feeding me and pretend that it's nourishing me. Because everything the world feeds you is not nourishing you. It's not giving you the necessary nutrients that you need in order to live a healthy life. You know, some things that the system feeds us that sickens us. It diseases us. It makes us dependent on it in the worst way. So here's the question that lives underneath all of this. What have you been consuming in the name of survival, in the name of access, in the name of influence, in the name of sitting at the table, being in the room? What have you been consuming that has been slowly changing the shape of who you are? Ananiah and a Mishael and a Azariah. He had 3 other people who respected his rough edges, who saw him for who he was and did not try to sanitize him. So what I'm saying here is that you have to surround yourself with folks who respect your rough edges. And let me tell you, this is not preference. This is a strategy for you to survive in this environment. You cannot stay honest in an empire that rewards performance unless, you have the resolve on the inside, but unless you also have people around you who have no investment in your polish. Yeah, there's some people who are invested in your polish. They're invested in your filter. They're invested in your edit. They're invested. They have stock in the company that nips and tucks you. You cannot surround yourself with people who are invested in your polish. Surround yourself with people who are cool with, who respect your rough edges. I don't know who I'm talking to.